In this video, we are going to have a practice of drawing in AutoCAD, and we will be drawing this image. We have two, the first and this second part in the right. So let's start with the first one. I want to have this by starting with a line. So from the center of the semicircle up to the center of the semicircle would be, it's not given directly here, but if we will notice, we can say that the diameter of the semicircles at these ends are 10 millimeter, because that is shown by the spacing of these two lines here. So if that is the diameter, the radius would be 5 millimeters. So from the this corner or the quadrant of the semicircle up to the center, that is also the endpoints of these horizontal lines here, that is 70 minus 5 millimeters on both ends, that would be 60 millimeters. So I'll start with that portion. Make sure that you are using the correct layers. For this one, I'll be using a 0.15 millimeter layer, continuous line. So draw a line, L, enter, and then I just want to start it with any random point. Remember, for your ortho mode, you can use F8. So that would be 60 millimeters. So we have your line. Next, we'll have your semicircles at those ends, and that would be using a circle with the command C and then enter. We specify the radius at the center first, that would be the endpoint of this line, and the radius is 5 millimeters because the diameter of that circle is 10 millimeters. The radius would be 5 millimeters. And another circle, that would be with the radius of 5 millimeters. Next, I want to offset this one by, of course, the radius, because that would be ending at this quadrant. That would be 5, and the other one also 5 millimeters from this line at the center. So from here we can start. We will now proceed with this horizontal line that has a spacing of 10 millimeters. We can use offset for this one also. For this part, I want to extend first this line up to this portion of the semicircle or those quadrants. I'll offset this by 10 millimeters because the spacing is 20 millimeters. Alright, so that is how you do it. Next, we'll have the spacing from this circle, this grid circle here, from the quadrant of this semicircle, that is 5 millimeters, and on the right, that is 4 millimeters. So I'll just create a line that is 5 millimeters, and then for the other one, that would be 4 millimeters. Right? And then we can proceed with the circle with a radius of, that is 20 millimeters. I know, that is 30 millimeters for the great circle. So I press C and enter. But for this one, I want to use the 2 points because I'll be specifying the diameter of this one. I want to start with this endpoint because it's hard to locate the center without looking for without your reference. So I'll just use 2 points. So for this one, I'll be specifying the diameter because I'll be using the 2 points to create a circle. So since that is having a radius of 20, the diameter will be 40 millimeters. So we have your circle, the great circle. Oh, that should be 20, 60, sorry, because oops, what did I do? Again, it should be 30. Okay, that's right. Again, okay, so that is 36. That should be 60. Diameter is 60. Okay, and then next, now that we have the circle, I've turned on the object snap so we can locate the circle. We can now create the smaller circle, but for this one I will use a different layer that is a red dashed line 0.05 in thickness. I'll be creating the circle by using the center here, and then that would have a radius of 20 millimeters. For the other portion here, I'll be using again okay, let me just repeat that portion. For the other part, I'll have 15 millimeters, the inner circle, and the greater circle that would be 20 millimeter. So I'll have this circle. Again, let's start with the 2 point. So this would have a diameter of 40, and the inner circle will have a radius of 15 millimeters. Alright, now that we have those portions, we can now, I want to change this layer with our 0.15. We can now proceed with the polygons. So to draw a polygon, you can choose here, polygon. You will notice on the cursor, we're asked for the number of sides. This is only applicable for sides with equal lengths. Okay, so that would be 6 sides. This is a hexagon, so that would have 6 sides. The center would be this circle, and that would be, is that inscribed or circumscribed? That is circumscribing the circle. When you say circumscribing, the polygon is outside the circle or greater than the circle, has a greater area than the circle. So that is circumscribed about a circle. And that circle is the smaller circle that we created. So I'll change this layer. I was not able to change pala the current layer. So yeah. And then for the other one, that is an inscribed polygon in the smaller circle with numbers of sides, with 5 number of sides. That is a pentagon. So again, we can create the polygon using that command. Specify the number of sides, 5. Specify the center, and then that would be inscribed. So we have your polygon. Next, we'll have your these circles here that is tangent to the circle and to the line. So what I will do here is I will be extending these portions so that we will have it in, oops, okay, I extended it for us to be able to trim it better later. So in creating a circle, by using two tangent lines and specifying the radius, you will click on this arrow down button in the circle command in the home tab and select on tan radius, meaning you will create a circle using two tangents and specifying the radius. So for this portion, we have here your radius equal to 11, and then that is tangent to the circle and tangent to the line. The radius is 11, and now we have your circle. Again, just repeat the process, tangent to the circle and tangent to the line. I'm clicking it, by the way. The radius is 11, enter. And for this right portion, tangent, and the radius is 13 millimeter. Again, you can repeat the command, the recent command, by pressing enter. So if you notice there, I did not select or the command here. I just press enter. It will be automatically repeating the command, the recent command that you just inputted. Alright, so tangent tayo. Tangent, and radius is 13. So we have your lines. I need to zoom this in for me to be able to trim properly. So I'll select all and trim. I'll trim this. Next would be these portions. Else, these parts would be trimmed. And there we have your shape. Okay, so have it now. Next we'll have our dimensioning. Okay, what I'll do is I will copy this portion. I'll copy it. On that part. Okay. Then I'll delete these circles here. Those are just our guides. That's why it's in a different layer. Now we're ready for the dimensioning. So for a dimensioning, you go to the annotate tab. It's easier in this part. Don't forget pala to change your layer. And we are now ready to annotate. Okay, let's have first our linear annotations. Or I forgot to create our guide circles here. So I changed the layer. I'll be creating a circle using the radius. This radius is 30. For the other one, that would be having a radius of 20. Okay, so we have your guidelines. Let's now proceed with our annotation. So linear annotation, from the quadrant of this circle to the quadrant of the semicircle, that is 5 millimeters. We continue. That is 70, and this would be 4 millimeters. Else we need to have our linear dimensions here. that is 10 millimeters. Another one, this would be 20 millimeters. And what else? Center to center, that should be 129. Okay. $129, you're correct. And what else in the linear? For the polygons, we'll have okay. And now for the circles, we'll just use the radius. That is 30. This is 20. This is 13. This would be 11. And what else? For this greater circle, we'll have 30. This one would be 20 millimeters. So that is the first drawing. Now proceed with the second one. We will plot this later. So for this portion, for the second part, that is this line here is 115 degrees from the horizontal. So I'll create a line, change the layer first. The line would be, yeah, that is 80. Press tab. This would be having this is 80, and the angle would be 150. 105 from the horizontal. Is that the correct angle? I think we need more. It's at 115 degrees from the horizontal. Okay. I hope that's the same with the previous one that I did a while ago. Yeah, it's 115 from the horizontal. Okay, next we have this line that is at 90 degree with the first line. So we'll just add 90 from the 115 degrees, so we can have your angle from the horizontal. That would be 205. So creating a line that would pass through that endpoint as well with a length of 80, and this would be 205. Okay, so these lines are perpendicular. We can now proceed with our line here. Let's start with this circle. This is at a radius of 40 millimeter. from this center. So that is 40 millimeters. Okay, and then we need to create this semicircles, or it's not semicircle actually, these sectors. This is from a circle that was offset by this spacing. So if that is 15 millimeter, diameter also of this semicircle here, so the offset is 7.5. So I'll offset this by 7.5 outside and 7.5 inside. Now I'm ready to change the layer into 0.15 again. I'll change the current layer into 0.15 now. And then this circle also is from us, has a radius of 60. So I'll create a circle again with the radius of 60. And then what else do we have? So another circle that would have a radius of 7.5, and another one here is 7.5. Else we have your circle here again that is tangent to this big circle and is passing through the center of that specific circle. So for that portion, I'll use the 2 point, and that will be passing through the center and the quadrant of this great circle. Okay, and then for this portion, the circle with a radius of 20 millimeter that is having a center at this intersection, so that would just be equal to this one, that is 20 radius. And we have your circle again here that is tangent to both of these circle, the 20 radius and the 30 radius here. So that would have a radius of 10 millimeter. So I'll use this one, tan radius, tangent, and the radius is 10. Oops, I should have placed it here. Right. Okay, we are now done with the circles. Oh, we have our last one here that is passing through also with a center. The center of this 7.5 radius circle is also the center of the 30 radius here. So we'll create a circle. Let's look for the center of this one. That is center. The radius is 7.5. So we have your circle. We are now ready to trim all of the circles or the portions that we don't need. So I'll trim this portion, this one, else we don't need these portions. And okay, for this one, I'll stretch this, or I'll change the length. So if you move your cursor by selecting on that endpoint of this arc, the default would be to stretch. Okay, to go to lengthen, press Ctrl, and you will now be able to just change it. Okay, so that is your drawing. We're now ready for the dimensioning. Let's start with the linear dimensions. I'll use my layer for dimensions, and this would be an annotation of aligned. That is 15 millimeters, and for this radius, that is just 10 millimeters, but I want to place that outside of the circle. So we have your dimensions, and then we'll have the radius of the circles that we need. So this is 20 millimeter. This is 60. This would be 40. This is 7.5, and this is 30. Did we miss something? No. Alright, so that is the second drawing. We are now ready to have our plotting. So for my plots, I'm using a different layer for the multi-view. That is this one. I made this invisible in printing, but it is visible in plotting. In this page layout, because we need to find the corners of that line, but we don't want to print. I don't want to print the corners of the multi-view, so I'll be using that layer. I'm now ready to use multi-view. From this corner up to the midpoint of this rectangle is the first drawing. Okay, again, another multi-view. Alright, I want to have some adjustments here. I'll move this a little bit so I can zoom this one a bit. So I now have my drawings. I noticed that the lines are not dashed well, so I'm regenerating the drawing in the model. Regenerating is similar to refresh in your computers. Okay, so that is our practice problem on composite shapes. Okay, we are now ready to plot this. I'm plotting a single sheet. Again, this is drawing to PDF and I'm using Windows here. Select the window and click OK. You just wait for it to be plotted. It's plotting in the background. So if you move your cursor on this portion, it says here that plot job is in progress. So we'll just wait for a while. For it to finish the plotting. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, you may do so for more contents like this one. For me to be able to do more content similar to this tutorials. Okay, we're now done with the plotting. I saved it in this folder, and that is this drawing. So we have our drawing. Again, if you will notice the multi-view here on that portion, this line is invisible because in my layers, let me show my layers here, that is transparent and that is not printable. So in the plot, that is not printable. Okay, so that is our output. Thank you for watching.